Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Kirsty Petrie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am showing you guys how to feed in cornrows with some regular Kanekalon braiding hair. I'm starting on freshly washed and blow dried hair. This is my hair in a blow dried condition. I did put oil on it, so that's why it's a little bit oily and stringy like that. But let's get right into it. So first things first, you want to map out your foundation when you're doing any cornrows. I was going to do some straight backs, as you can see, but last minute I decided to change it up just because I didn't really feel like struggling with the middle braid, so I went with like slanted cornrows. So I'm going to be using a regular Kanekalon braiding hair. It's not pre-stretched or anything like that. I chose a little ombre color. So I'm going to show you guys how I prep my braiding hair. I take super small pieces and I gradually let those pieces get bigger. By the 10th piece, you'll see how big it is. For each feed-in cornrow, I use about 10 pieces. Sometimes I'll add about 13 if they're, if it looks a little bit shorter. But the idea is when you're doing feed-in cornrows, your first 3 pieces need to be really small pieces of braiding hair. They don't need to be chunky. Your chunkiness doesn't need to start till about your 5th piece, and that's because nobody's hair is that thick in the front. It's just not. So continue watching to see how I actually install the cornrows. So I just wanted to jump right back in to let you guys know that this wooden thing is called a thread rack. I get this message on a constant daily basis. I link it every time in my description box. If you guys want to purchase it, I put it inside my Amazon store. You guys can purchase it there. It is a thread rack. I call it a braid rack. It comes in handy, especially for feed-in braids and box braids. Okay, so in this next clip, I am braiding my real hair. I decided to add one of those little baby braids, and that's just because my hair is a little bit thinner like in this side area, so I decided that I didn't want to have a whole bunch of space, so I decided a little baby braid would kind of fill out that space. And I didn't add any hair to this, I just used my regular hair. Now moving on to the actual cornrow, I'm taking some gel. You could use any stronghold thick gel, not a watery loose gel. You can also use beeswax. You apply it to both sides of your part. Then you're going to take a comb, and you're going to take the comb and distribute the gel through your hair. And this is just going to help you keep a neat braid, a less frizzy braid. And when you're using your comb, you want to comb it in the direction that you're going to braid. So I'm braiding it upwards because when I grab my hair, I want to be able to grab it with ease. I don't want it to be laying down in the opposite direction. So to start the feed-in cornrow, you're going to start with your real hair. Just the tiniest amount of your real hair. So you would start it like you start any French braid or Dutch braid, whatever people call it. I call it a cornrow. You're going to start with 3 little pieces like so, and you're going to make 5 movements. 1, 2, 3, and you're grabbing some of your hair. 4 and 5. After this 5th movement right here, you're going to kind of make sure all of your hair is positioned correctly. Then grab your first piece of Kanekalon hair. Okay, and you want to go ahead and slide it through your pointer finger and your thumb, making sure that that braiding hair is matching with your hair. So once you go 6, you see that? You're taking it, and then 7, you're also taking that other piece. And then I'm just gonna braid a little bit with my hair right here just to make sure that piece of braiding hair I added is installed. And then now I'm gonna add in my second piece. You do not have to add an additional piece of braiding hair after every 2 movements. The key is to look at your hair, look at how it's forming, and you can tell like, oh, this looks lumpy, this looks like totally a different size from what it should be, this looks good. Usually it's supposed to be skinnier in the beginning and then get gradually bigger, so don't be turned off by that. Remember, you're just you're starting with skinny and then getting too big. All right, so let's show it up another clip again. I'm going to take that braiding hair, and you see I'm holding it. I hold it in one hand very tight, and that's so that way I can slip it right in between my thumb and my finger. And you see I'm constantly using my ring finger to hold down my braid. That's sometimes when you're braiding, your braid likes to move and shift. So holding it down sometimes when you're moving and just checking how things are looking helps a ton. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep adding it in. You guys keep watching these clips and I'll show you guys another angle really soon. Petrie.
Produced by Louis Avalon. Produced by Louis Avalon.
Here is the second angle. I've already molded my hair. I'm starting with my natural hair. This is 2. There we go. And 3. I'm actually going to do 6 movements. This is 4. And the reason I did 6 was just because I'm at a thinner part of my hair for this particular cornrow, and it didn't feel secure enough for me. So here is where I'll add in my first piece of hair. So I'm going to pause once I do add it in. And as you can see, I've added it between my pointer finger and thumb. And that is the exact spot you want to add in that braiding hair every single time. Now remember, you do not have to add that braiding hair each time, like after every second braid movement. You can skip once and then add it in like every other time. So it's a really natural gradient. Remember that cornrows are supposed to start skinny. Feed-in cornrows are supposed to start skinny and natural. They're not supposed to have a knot. So the smaller the braiding hair that you start with, the more natural that it's gonna look. And like I said, I added about 10 pieces for each cornrow. Once I got to the end, I did add maybe 2 or 3 more pieces, which equal out to 13. And I ended up adding that so that way all my braids were around the same length. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let my clip just keep rolling so that way you guys can see the entire process. Leave a comment down below if you do know how to do feed-in cornrows. Do you follow any of these types of methods that I use? What methods do you like to use that's easier for you? If you guys remember earlier on in the year, I actually used to add in my hair another way, but this looks so much neater and it was kind of easier, so I prefer this method. So go ahead and keep watching.
Produced by Louis Avalon. Petrie.
Okay guys, so we are at the end of this cornrow. Remember, you keep adding hair all the way to the end of the cornrow, and then you just keep braiding down. I used gel all the way throughout, so don't forget that step to make sure your braid is smooth. Once you actually complete your cornrow and braid your hair all the way to the end, you're going to go ahead and dip the ends of your braids. Do not forget to trim with scissors, because that is going to get all those little frizzy flyaways, and it doesn't look good. It disappears once you dip it, but once it dries and it's in the daylight, you can see all of it. So if you enjoyed this video for these feed-in braids with Kanekalon hair, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Bye y'all. Stay channeling the beauty within inside of you.